You and Your Young Child, a program of information and services available for you and your child from prenatal to age 5. You and Your Young Child has been brought to you in part by Sternberg Museum of Natural History, also by The Dentist.
Yearning to get away for an island adventure? First, visit Fort Hays State University Sternberg Museum today and see their newest exhibit, Galapagos. The Sternberg Museum is the first venue in North America to host this unique exhibit. Then, in June, travel to the remote islands whose animals helped inspire Charles Darwin's theory of evolution. Discover the Galapagos exhibit at the Sternberg Museum today and learn how you can join me on a 10-day island adventure of a lifetime.
Come discover a one-of-a-kind dental center for the whole family at The Dentist. Dr. Melinda Miner and Dr. Michael Holmberg and their warm and friendly staff love working with children of all ages to help keep everyone smile happy and healthy. They recommend children start seeing the dentist by age 1. The Dentist is now accepting new patients, children and their families. Visit them at 1010 Downing Avenue in Hays or online at thedentistinhays.com.
Hello and welcome to You and Your Young Child, the program devoted to early childhood. My name is Dana Stanton and I'm the coordinator of early childhood grants for USD 489. And with me today is Christine Weber. Good morning, Christine.
Good morning.
Now, first of all, Christine, tell us what organization you work for and what you do there.
I work for Early Childhood Connections and I am the lead teacher here.
Mm-hmm. Well, which I kind of know that because you're right down the hall from me, but in case if people don't know.
Yes.
Now, today we're going to talk about fine motor skills in preschoolers and why they're so important. So I guess the first question is, why is it important for preschool age kids to work on fine motor skills?
Well, our main focus is we want the kids to be ready for kindergarten when they get ready, because when they're in kindergarten they use so many, fine motor, their fingers, they're cutting, they're writing, they're doing so many more things than they even do in our classroom, and that they do it all day long. And we want them to have that strength so that way they're not tired and they can write well.
Stamina.
The stamina, there you go, good word. Stamina, so that way they can do it while they're in school. So our goal is to work on all those skills so that way they can have that strength when they get into school.
Now, say there's someone out there, they're a parent of a preschooler or a grandparent of a preschool, and they're like, oh, fine motor, that's important for my preschooler. What do they do? What are the activities, or what are specific things that they need to work on with their child?
It's very simple things, really. I mean, I look at it, and I kind of got some ideas, just things that I do with my own kids at home, because I have that age at my house, and things that I do in my classroom, but things that are easy to do at your own house without having to create things or do anything that's special, just things you can get out. I mean, the very simple thing is, you can get these kind of little chunky crayons, but these are triangular ones. That way it helps with the fine motor, with getting the right pencil grip, so you can have those. I also like to have little chunky, little tiny, I have another one, little crayons, because when they're small, it forces them to have that. The pincher grasp, yes. And it helps them to do that. So, when they're drawing pictures, coloring in the lines is wonderful, but just allowing them to just color, just draw pictures. Scribble, working on maybe making pictures of themselves, self-portraits, anything like that. I mean, just any type of drawing, and they can just draw until their heart's content.
Well, I know there's like a developmental difference in this, and then you've seen some little guys, they've got the fist, and then they should go to
right, and then sometimes they'll go like this, and so this is the ultimate goal that we want, is them to be like this. And usually, by the time they get to kindergarten, or even when they're done with our classroom, they are doing that. But sometimes they need that extra help. So when they have these type of, just the simplest thing is breaking a crayon, which I know we don't always like to do. But breaking a crayon,
well, there's always plenty that get broken.
There's more than enough. I've realized that with my own house. And so you just use that because it forces them. You can't really do that very well with a small crayon, or even pencils. Cut them in half or break them in half. It's okay. Doing that, and that will help them. It just kind of forces them to have that kind of a grip. So that's really important.
Other things.
Scissors. I know that's kind of a scary thing at home. Sometimes I hear that all the time. I don't let my child do that because they might cut something. Supervision. Very important. Supervision.
And we're not talking about your Fisker, really.
No, these are little child ones. Scissors. Yeah, they're very safe. And if you're really, really nervous about that, they make Play-Doh scissors that you can't cut anything but literally Play-Doh, because there's nothing to cut. I mean, they're just
Little plastic round
they're plastic
things.
rounds, yes. So, you know, when you're doing that, making sure you have the right grip, you know, thumb on top, fingers on the bottom, and making sure that thumb stays on the top. They like to turn, they like to do all sorts of funny things. It's amazing what they can do. But if they keep that thumb on top and just cut, you know, doing that. You know, first they'll start snipping, then they'll cut across. You can even make wavy lines, just draw them on the paper.
Draw a line and let them cut the line, cut it out.
Very simple things that they can do, and they love it. It's not like you're asking them to do terrible things. They love doing those things. So it's like kind of like busy work that they just enjoy doing. Office work, as my kids would call it. Simple things that you have around the house. Clothespins. I know I have them in my house. I know some people don't. They dry everything.
Yeah.
But clothespins, and if you don't, they're very inexpensive to get. But just clipping, you know, just going like this. It's kind of a hard thing. They don't understand how to do it.
Yeah.
But they have to use those fingers that they're going to use for cutting and for drawing. You have to. And so, you know, doing that, you can make it into a numbers game. You can draw on them. You can, you know, color them and work on other skills if you want. But just, you know, clipping them on to, you know, having them all out, clipping them all on. Kids just love doing that. They just do. So those are really neat things. And then Play-Doh, of course, you know, they can help you make the Play-Doh. But then when you're working with the Play-Doh, just the fact of working with it, rolling it out. The other thing I like to do is I put little beads in there, and then I hide them in there. So they have to.
You have to find it.
You have to find it. So you're using those fingers, and then there the one popped out. So they have to find them. They have to dig, and depending on how good your Play-Doh is, and you could do this in clay. Clay is a lot harder if you have.
And they really would have to work.
They would
those
really have
hands.
to work. I know they have Model Magic. You could do the same thing with Model Magic. It's not quite. It's going to be a little softer, but you could do that with that. But when they find those, when it's just a fun game to do, but they, you know, they have to use their fingers to find them because they're small little beads or anything that you might have laying around the house that would be hard, that, you know, would be easier to find but won't get lost in it. And just, you know, have it in there, and they have to work with it. And the kids love Play-Doh. I mean, you could use cookie cutters, anything. And this is another thing with scissors. If you don't, you know, that's the Play-Doh scissors. Cutting the Play-Doh, it's a little tougher than like
paper?
construction paper or even paper. It's harder to do, especially after it's been older. It's a lot harder to do.
Yeah.
But you know, that really helps. It really makes their muscles work. So all those things, I mean, the sky's the limit. You can do all sorts of things. The other thing I thought of too is the simplest thing as to when you're dishing up and eating a meal. We do that in our program here at Early Child Connections. We sit family style, they have to dish themselves up. You're using those wrist movements to dish themselves up. You know, I know at our house we use the bigger spoons. Use some smaller spoons that they can use, and maybe put them in smaller bowls, something like that, and have them dish up. I mean, my kids at home love to do that. It's independence. They have so many skills besides fine motor.
Well, and it makes them, there's the whole thing of, oh, look, I'm a grown-up, and I get to take my own mashed potatoes and put them on the table.
And I mean, you're working on so many skills right there with just, you know, fine motor. You know, that might be the goal, but you're working on so many other skills right there with that. I mean, really, I think the sky is the limit on how many different things you can do. But I like to do that. I mean, there's, you know, forming the Play-Doh even into different sculptures, I think is really cool. And then the other thing too, if you have blocks at home, lots of blocks.
Legos is what I was thinking about. Legos,
yes,
that you put them together and the stacking.
Our classroom loves the Legos. You know, just look at your house, look at the toys that you have within your house, and just think about which ones actually, when you're putting them together, and you know, maybe do it yourself, that actually make you work these muscles. You know, your fingers, your wrists, those types of things. Which ones do that? And when you're putting them together, oh, okay, then stick them out, rotate them. Because I know we all have more than enough toys, and we have lots of them. Legos, I know there's Connects, there's
all the different blocks.
There's lots of blocks. There's, you know, the Duplo Legos for those smaller kiddos. You know, there's so many out there that I know we probably have in our house that we just need to get them out maybe for them because they haven't been out for a while. Rotate them.
Rotate the toys.
And then start using them and do it with them for a little while. Get them interested. You know, they'll start
and they
using
don't
those.
know they're working on fine
They
motor
don't
skills.
know.
They're playing with blocks and they're playing with Play-Doh, and that's a good thing.
And you just do it more often, and that's going to build those skills.
Wonderful information. You know, I think probably the most important thing is we don't think about working on how all those little things we play with the kids are working on specific skills. So
Yes.
get those fingers moving for
Being
those little
more intentional.
preschoolers. All right. Thank you so much, Christine.
You're very welcome.
You've been watching You and Your Young Child, the program devoted to early childhood. Parents, remember, you are your child's first and best teacher. Thank you.
You and Your Young Child, a program of information and services available for you and your child from prenatal to age 5. You and Your Young Child has been brought to you in part by Sternberg Museum of Natural History, also by The Dentist.